This is LauraJthe.Treetalker. Today I'm speaking with Japanese Beach. It told me that the phrase, "it's a matter of perspective," was what it wanted to talk about. It began by saying, each of you has your own way of looking at things, which is usually tied to how something affects you personally, even in relation to larger national or international issues. It doesn't mean everyone disagrees with everyone else, but it usually means you form camps. You will arrive at your perspective individually, then gravitate towards those who think in a similar way. The trick is to be open to hearing a different position from your own, without being defensive, but being able to remain firm if after consideration you feel you were right at first. And I asked, what causes someone to be defensive about their position, maybe even hold on to it in spite of overwhelming evidence that their opinion is based on incorrect information? It replied, well, most people don't like to be opposed or proved wrong because somewhere along the line they learned to think that believing something factually incorrect meant there was something basically wrong with them personally, and that belief is usually quite unconscious. I said, I would think that's such an illogical belief to have. It wouldn't be too hard to recognize that you're being defensive and step back and listen to the other point of view. Then it said, maybe, although the things that have formed your outlook on life can be a little harder to shake. You are first and indelibly influenced by family, then teachers and religious leaders, after that, friends, the media, or these days, something you find or hear about on the internet. But even so, your basic position, or at least the way you approach learning things or establishing opinions in the first place, will have its roots in your early childhood, like really early childhood. A child literally starts learning and absorbing information as soon as it is born. I said, well, child psychology is way outside my job skills. How would having opposing perspectives be relevant to our situation today here in America? It told me, I think the point is that different people arrive at dissimilar opinions for a variety of reasons, some of them deeply buried in their pasts. So it may not be that they are lying or just being stubborn. It may be that they truly believe that their position is correct and will stick with it no matter what anyone says to the contrary. Remember, following a logical train of thought doesn't always mean you've come to a correct conclusion according to the facts. Didn't someone coin the phrase alternative facts fairly recently? And I said, yeah, they did. But I suppose you could consider it logical that there are fire-breathing dragons keeping the core of the planet molten. No way to prove it wrong. It laughed. I think there's a fair chance that many do believe that. I said, right, so back to how this is relevant to us at the moment. And it said, well, the only time that it's a problem that someone has an entrenched position that may not agree with yours, or more importantly in this case, society as a whole, is when they decide that it would be best for everyone to follow their vision on how things should be done, and then go about forcing it down your collective throats. I said, no, so now we've come to the issue at hand. So, as a member of the group having something forced on us, what can we, or I, do about it? It said, first of all, speak up, and not just to the wind or your mirror. Start with your friends and family, then make your complaints to people who are in some position of authority. Then, importantly, get to know the opposition. Understand what makes them want to force things on the rest of you. You might find that once upon a time they felt that you all were forcing your opinions or life choices on them. It's a place to start, one that will encourage discussion at least, rather than out-and-out conflict. There will probably be things you agree on and things about which you agree to disagree, as long as each of you has the space to exist in the way you prefer. So I said, what if they consider your position evil, and they therefore have the right to crush your position and you if it comes to that? It replied, "Well, that's pretty extreme, but it's a position many strong men and their followers have taken in the past. And many wars have been fought throughout your history in the name of one god or other. But in the end, it always happens that the minority, when it has achieved power and tries to compel others to submit to its will, is eventually forced to give way to the majority, because it is the majority. At least, here and now, you still have the means to settle your differences without violence. That part is up to both sides to avoid. And it's wise to remember this. There are elements that would prefer violence because they will gain wealth and power for themselves if conflict is the order of the day. Don't be dragged into that. Stay true to your own mission, that of justice and fairness for all, and the continuation of the life of the planet itself and the rest of its inhabitants. Remember, you're not here alone. The rest of life depends on you all to work this out in a way that will protect all of us. If you keep that goal in mind, you will find a way to work out your differences." And that is what Japanese Beach has to say to us today. Thanks for watching, and if you've enjoyed hearing from this tree today, please like, subscribe, and share with your nature-loving friends.